Hey everyone, it's Xander from OneHive here. This is going to be my first video in a series of my war attack replays. We're going to start with looking at the base that I'm going to be hitting, going through the plan, and then we're going to show the replay and see how I execute it. Most of the time poorly, but nonetheless we'll see what mistakes I make and how we could have made it better. So let's jump right into this. As you can see, I think a lot of you will know what Twiddla is. Us here at OneHive, we use Twiddla to plan our attacks. We also have a TeamSpeak server where usually during war day there's at least one person on there at all times that is willing to help out, jump on Twiddla, and we can tweak the attack plan accordingly. It's really helpful, so if you guys want to try to get your clan on that, to use Twiddla, it would be really helpful for you guys. Let's jump into the planning here. As you can see, this base is a forum base or an online base. It's very popular. It's not the greatest base. It's easily hogged, so that's what we're going to be doing here. It's called the Tootsie Roll base, which is a really odd name, but as you can see, it kind of makes sense. This guy kind of made his own variation of it, but it's pretty obvious where things are here. We have a Tesla here, Tesla there, and a Tesla at 3 o'clock. I mean, that's fairly obvious to see even if it wasn't a foreign base. And we also have a giant bomb right here near the mortar. There's no other spaces for any other giant bombs, as we can see. I mean, there's tons of spaces outside the base, but we're not really going to worry about that right now. We're just going to look at how we're going to start the attack off. So you want to look at initially where their air defenses are, because if you can trade 1-for-1 with a loon, it's very, very ideal. So his air defenses cover most things on this base except this cannon right here at 9 o'clock. So what we're going to do is send in a loon right at the beginning of the raid to take that out while we get the lore. So what we want to do is break the ring around the base. See this ring right here with all the defenses. We don't want our hogs running around there. We want them to get through the core. So what we're going to do is drop 3 hogs. Let's change color here. We're going to drop 4 hogs actually, sorry, at this mortar, which will get the CC lore and take out the mortar. We do have a spring trap right here, and that's another reason why we are lowering on the mortar, or not the mortar, my bad, the wizard tower. That way the hogs won't go over that spring trap. Usually you can do 3 hogs to a defense, but since there's going to be a lot of point defense, or a decent amount of point defense shooting out, and we want to make sure that mortar is dead before the CC troops get to the hogs on that wizard tower. Alright, so after the lore, we're going to get those, put an anchor here, which is going to be an archer, and then the CC troops will be walking up there. We're going to do the usual, send an archer on each side until the CC troops bunch up in this area. Then we're going to drop our kill squad. We have 2 witches and a barb in our CC, so we're going to use those for distraction. Then we'll drop 2 wizards, 3 if it goes poorly, which will take out those CC troops, and then walk up here to start cleaning up. What you want to make sure you do is after you do your CC kill, you want to send in your, if you're doing hogs, you want to send in your hogs where your CC kill squad is. So we're going to start our hogs in this area. But first, we want to look at where the giant bombs are and if we can pre-trigger any of them. So what I am planning on doing is sending in 3 hogs to this mortar, which will take that mortar out, and they should stray over to this archer tower, which should trigger that giant bomb. We're going to do that after the CC kill, because we do not want to send them in while his troops are up, obviously. So once that is done, we will then kind of do a surgical hog attack, but not really. This mortar should be down. It's a very bad X. But this mortar should be down so we can send in the majority of our hogs where these 3-point defenses are at 3 o'clock. So what we're going to do is send in, I think it was 6 hogs on each point defense here. That Tesla will be shooting on the archer tower and there's 2 cannons, so that's a decent amount of point defense. But if we have 6 hogs going in on each point defense there, they'll be taken down in no time. Then as soon as those go down, we want to send in 3 to 4 hogs onto that cannon, and also about 3 hogs to that wizard tower. The hogs on that wizard tower are not as important, but it's just a nice way to start them going around the outside ring, while these hogs will all go to the Tesla and then hit this air defense and then just go throughout the base. Throughout the core. So that's the plan. We're going to have, let's see, about 6 here, 6 here, 6 hogs there, 4 hogs here, 3, 3, and 3. Ignore the horrible written numbers. Like a kindergartner in paint. So now let's talk about the heals. Heal placement is one of the most important parts. Since we're sending our hogs at those point defenses, and point defenses are the biggest threat to hogs after the CC troops, we actually don't have to worry about that much. But once they take out that Tesla and go to the core, there's a lot of defenses in the core. The ADs are very high HP, so the hogs are going to be stalling out a little bit, but they'll all meet up there, so we'll have a decent amount in there to kill it quickly. So we're going to drop a heal about right in this area, and then by the time they get through there, we can drop another one right in this area. And then the third heal can just be used whenever they hit a giant bomb, or if they start getting low for whatever reason. But after they get out of the core, most of the base is going to be destroyed, and there's only going to be like 4 to 5 defenses up. So it really shouldn't be that bad. One thing I did forget to mention is that I'm going to be dropping my king right here to do a king swap, and maybe the archer tower right here will see my king and start shooting at it, so it can take away some of the damage for my hogs coming through. But that's not really that big of a deal. I just wanted to swap for the king to get him out of the way. So that's the plan. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. As you can see in the replay, it does not go as planned fully. It still works, but I fat finger some extra hogs for my lore, end up sending in 5 on that wizard tower and 4 on the mortar next to the giant bomb. So you gotta kind of think on the fly. That's not really that big of a mistake, but it kind of messes with your numbers, and I actually end up sending just a bunch of hogs to this cannon at the end, whatever's left, and none to the wizard tower next to it. Okay, so here's our last war. Kind of handed their asses to them, but their bases were really easy. Most of them, I don't even remember seeing any that had 2 giant bombs next to each other, which is very poor and very easily hogged. They did have 3 Town Hall 10s, whereas we do not have any Town Hall 10s, but we got the 2-star on 3 of them, because as I said, they were very poorly made bases. And then we got 3 stars on everything else, all their Town Hall 9s and 8s. So we're going to be looking at this base, number 22. As you can see, 32 hogs. I like to take 6 wizards. I usually only use 2 for the CC kill, and then I have 4 for cleanup. I usually throw them on opposite ends of the map, and then I use barbs and archers for the CC kill. So as I said, I send in the loon for a 1-to-1 trade on that cannon. The Tesla doesn't pop because the Tesla range is shorter than its actual shooting range. And when I drop these hogs, like I said, there was 2 giant bombs outside of the base, but I should have sent in a test hog because I knew that, but I didn't, so my hogs actually took a lot of damage from there, but 2 or 3 got through and still got the lure and killed the wizard tower, which is great. So I set my archer tower on that builder's hut as the anchor, get these troops together, try to get them as far away from defenses as possible, bunch them up. Using the archers, you want to use the archers for bunching up the troops and barbs for distraction. You want to send them from all sides, especially if there's wizards. Then I drop my CC full of witches and a barb. And what I'm doing here is trying to check for giant bombs outside of the base because I got kind of paranoid. As you can see there, I dropped 4 hogs instead of the 3 that we planned on, and they actually did not run over the giant bomb, but I continued the plan as we talked about. I should have sent in my hogs at 3 o'clock earlier, so one of my witches did not die, but 1 stayed up, so that's okay. As you can see, I dropped the heal. I actually sent in the rest of my hogs to that cannon at about 2 o'clock. Dropped the second heal. So as you can see, the majority of them made their way through the core, but there's also some hogs that went around the outside at the top. So I'm doing the king trade, which went nicely. They're going to the last Tesla, and I have a 3rd heal here. Really did not need it, but just in case they run over. Well, actually there's no giant bombs left, so I guess it was kind of a swag heal, but just kind of topped off my hogs there. And we'll just kind of fast forward here, since this is just cleanup. Hopefully you guys like the plan. I'll probably try to make it shorter next time. 3-star, which is nice. Doesn't always happen, but these bases were kind of okay. So hopefully you guys learned something new. Make sure to look and see if you can send in a loon for a 1-to-1 trade. But I'll see you guys next time.